Welcome, Nebraska, to this week's episode of the Retirement Compass, the show that helps you successfully navigate to and through retirement. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and I'm joined today by two team members from Stonebridge Wealth Management. We have Tim Kulhanek. He is the founding partner and senior financial advisor, as well as Jeremy Gove, another senior financial advisor. Tim, Jeremy, it's great to be with you. How are you this week?
Doing pretty good. I'm hanging in there as best I can, Kristen. I've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and the 3-year-old thinks she's a synchronized swimmer in her sleep. Okay, so I've been beat up a little bit over the last few nights.
She keeps crawling into bed.
She crawls into bed
right?
with us every night, but we'll be all right.
Oh, well, I'm so glad to be here with both of you. And Jeremy, what's going on in your world?
Well, we're just enjoying summer vacation, and school's going to be starting here shortly, so we're just trying to enjoy the last few days of summer.
Soaking up every last moment.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, I am really excited for our viewers to get to know you and get to know a little bit more about Stonebridge Wealth Management, and you've put together a great show for everyone at home. I want to just start by asking how this all came to be. How did Stonebridge Wealth come about and the Retirement Compass? So dig in. Let's get to it.
Yeah, sure. Appreciate the opportunity to kind of share the story of Stonebridge. So the genesis of the firm, it goes back to really 3000 2nd Avenue in Kearney, Nebraska, to be exact. So back about 12 years ago, I was working together with Jeremy and then our other two partners, which would be Scott Noctegal and Jeremy's brother, Jeff. And at the time, we were working for a different firm, wasn't owned by us, and it was an independent financial services firm. But over the course of maybe the first 2 years of working there, we're really excited to get out and help people in our local community. We found out pretty quickly that just kind of the philosophy of that firm, the way it was run, didn't necessarily align with what we had as far as a vision goes. It was more about financial product sales versus sitting across the table from someone and finding out what their goals are for retirement and putting together a plan to help them achieve those goals.
And that's all too common in this industry.
It really is, Kristen. And where it really hit home for me, and I think the other guys as well, is when you go and you sit down across the table, because a lot of our meetings in those early days, we didn't have a conference room. This was a small office. We were sitting down at the table with folks. And when you sit down and you have to explain that, hey, the investment you put your money in, that your hard-earned money that you had entrusted this firm with, that it didn't work out, not that you had a bad year, but that this investment is potentially gone for good.
Wow.
And you see the look in their eyes, and you see, your own mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, a family member, and it really changes your perspective. So I'd like to think there's a little bit of altruism in our decision to move on from that, and we started our own firm shortly thereafter, and that was kind of how we got to be Stonebridge in the early days.
Wow. And now where are your offices located?
So our office in Kearney, that's where it was started.
Yes.
And then we also have an office in Grand Island. And then we also have an office in Lincoln, Nebraska, and we're just getting ready to open an office in Omaha.
I love it. Servicing the whole state.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Most of the state covered, yes.
Well, going back to the story, it just really sounds like, which unfortunately is an all too common thing, it can be in this industry. It sounds like there was just really a misalignment between the goals of what the client was in fact in the client's best interest versus the goals of the firm that you all originally started at, and that was the impetus for starting Stonebridge, correct?
Yeah, I guess the analogy is that people use all too often is you're trying to put a round peg in a square hole. And that's really what we felt like. And a lot of these investment companies, they spend a lot more time teaching you about how to sell an investment rather than how to solve problems for our clients. And I think all of us at Stonebridge, we got into this industry to solve problems for people. And what we were finding is that there really wasn't any problem solving. We're just selling stuff. And so that was part of the move to Stonebridge. Not only allowed us to have the freedom to do what we needed to do for our clients, but we also restructured how we are compensated, how everything is done so that we can actually put our clients first and be a true fiduciary.
So let's unpack that term a little bit, because people that might hear that term fiduciary a lot. Can you just define exactly what that means and why that makes you different?
Sure, I'm happy to jump in. So really to me, being a fiduciary means you have a moral, legal, and ethical obligation to put the client's interest ahead of your own. And so, when you look at the financial services industry, there's different ways, there's different compensation models, different standards that you are held to as a financial professional, right?
Right.
And so we felt that if we're gonna be doing this and we really want to live by our word, we need to make sure that we're holding up this fiduciary standard.
So being a fiduciary obviously is one of the key things that sets you all and Stonebridge Wealth apart, but also the fact that you're independent. So talk a little bit about that distinction and what that means.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of brokerage firms out there, and there's a lot of good employees at those brokerage firms, so we're not trying to throw them under the bus. But when you're a big box brokerage firm, a lot of times you're being provided a sales list of things that you need to sell. Your compensation a lot of times is tied to those things. So if I'm selling a specific family of mutual funds, I'm getting paid more for those than others. And so we just realized very quickly that Fidelity has a lot of great funds, but they're not great in every single category. And so to be able to be independent and make those decisions where we can go out and find the best investments for our clients, and pick the Fidelity fund that's the best, or the TD Ameritrade, whatever fund it is.
Right, you're not limited in your choices.
Exactly, we're not limited, so we can put the client's interest first, like Tim was saying about being a fiduciary. I mean, we have a moral obligation to do that.
Yes.
And it's sad that you have to distinguish that in this industry, because most people should be getting into this industry to do that in the first place. But we do have a moral obligation and a legal obligation to do that as well.
Yeah, I guess what I kind of liken it to is, here recently, my wife and I had to have the handyman come over, Rob. Rob is a great guy. And we were having a problem with our sink. Our sink had fallen down like probably 1/4 of an inch on one side.
Oh, yeah.
And Rob came over and I said, Rob, here's the deal. Here's what I need help with. And he kind of did an analysis and he said, you know what, this is something I can help you with, Tim. And so we agreed on a price. We agreed on a time and a date for him to come back. He came back the next day. And when he came in, he had some 2x4s, he had a 1x4, he had some shims, a drill, and several other tools. Now, I would have been pretty stunned if Rob would have walked in and he had a tool chest and it had big hammers, small hammers, ball peen hammers, a sledgehammer, just all different various types of hammers, right?
Right.
How on earth are you going to get this job done? It's really the same with Stonebridge. We have, with our independence, we have the right tool set to be able to get the job done. So if you need help with income planning, we can help you with that. Investments, taxes, healthcare, legacy planning. As independent holistic advisors, we look at the whole gamut versus just trying to sell products, because again, that was really how this firm was founded, was putting your interests ahead of our own. And we'd like an opportunity to do the same for our viewers out there today. You can give us a call, 866-256-7778. Again, 866-256-7778, or go to our website, stonebridgeiwm.com.
Wonderful. Tim, Jeremy, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, we are going to take a quick commercial break, but this is an excellent opportunity for you to take advantage of this offer to be able to come in and for no cost, no charge, no obligation, you can get your complimentary retirement readiness review from Tim, Jeremy, and the whole team at Stonebridge Wealth Management. Simply call the number on the bottom of the screen, 866-256-7778. You can also take out your smartphone. Simply scan that QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That will take you over to a landing page, ask you a few short questions, and then a member of the team will be able to reach out to you to connect you with this opportunity as well. When we come back, we have more to talk about how to help you successfully navigate to and through retirement. Stay with us.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Well, welcome back to this week's edition of the Retirement Compass. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and I'm joined by Tim Kulhanek and Jeremy Gove from Stonebridge Wealth Management. And we've been having a great conversation helping our viewers understand the difference about being independent, being a fiduciary. And Jeremy, I would love to hear a little bit more about what really sets Stonebridge apart and what our viewers need to know about what you all do day in and day out for your clients.
Yeah, so we spend a lot of time focusing on value. If you're trying to build a relationship with somebody, one of the things that you're always trying to do is you're adding value. If you want to have a truly strong, vibrant relationship, it requires both people adding value to the relationship. And so that's one of the primary things we do. We focus on that. We start with that. And so we're looking at how do we add value to the client relationship? And there's really three different ways. If you think about it, if you just take a step back, there's three different ways to invest money today. You can, go to a product provider. A lot of people will do that. They'll work with, a Vanguard or a TD Ameritrade. They'll open up a retail account and they'll just do it themselves. And that's probably the easiest, most cost-efficient way to do it. And you're not getting any advice. You're just have an account and you can go in and you can choose the investments that you want to make and then you run with it. So that's the first one. But then if you look at the third thing, and this is where Stonebridge falls into, you look at a holistic planner.
Yes.
And so we're not just talking about how do we invest money. We're not just talking about, the different aspects of, I need this fund over this fund. We're looking at putting together a holistic financial plan, and we're looking at really 5 core areas that are part of that holistic plan. And the first one is income. And then we look at investments, taxes, healthcare, and then the last thing is legacy planning. And one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is a lot of the decisions that you make about where you're going to take your income from has an impact on how you're going to pay your taxes.
Yes.
And as you go through retirement or go into your retirement years, you can make a lot of mistakes really quickly by drawing money just from your 401k versus some other investment or account that you have. And so the holistic planning is really the only way, in our opinion, to truly have a true financial plan that provides success down the road.
I'm so happy to hear you say that. It's very clear that Stonebridge is different by design. And in my work as a financial educator, I've always said that how you make a decision in one area of your life does and will affect all the others. And this is why that comprehensive, holistic financial planning approach is so crucial. Yeah. And so I'm curious, Tim, what have you seen as the benefit for those that you've been able to engage in this kind of holistic financial planning process with? What's been the benefit for your clients?
Yeah, I would say it's been a mutual benefit, because if you go back to what we were talking about last segment about the beginnings of the firm and just trying to sell a product, I get way more enjoyment of putting together a comprehensive financial plan, because I can say we're objectively helping people. Now, where I see it in our day-to-day activities is, we do a lot of workshops in the communities that we serve, right? So you can actually go to our website, again, stonebridgeiwm.com, and we have you can click on attend an event, right? And there's workshops lined up about all kinds of different topics. And oftentimes it'll be Social Security, it'll be taxes, it'll be investments. But what I found is it doesn't really matter what the topic is that we're discussing. Without a fail, after that workshop, I'm gonna have somebody, and usually the last one, it was this gentleman who just stayed seated. Everyone had cleared out, they were on their way to their next, activity that day. And he just kind of had this perplexed look on his face, and he didn't say a word. And then he approached me after the workshop. He came up and he said, "I've been working with the same financial advisor for the last 10 years, Tim. And every time I go into his office, what I typically hear is things look good, here's a few charts and graphs saying you're going to be fine, and I'll see you, in 6 months, or I'll see you in a year." And it's a 20-minute conversation. Not once has he ever talked to me about what you talked about tonight, whether it be how to maximize my Social Security, how to minimize my taxes. And what we found is, if we can put together a plan that saves people money on their taxes, we don't have to get as high a rate of return necessarily, because we're helping you keep more money in your pocket. So that's where I see it. And what I get a lot of enjoyment out of as an advisor.
I bet that happens a lot, that people are like, wow, no one's ever talked to me. I might be working with someone as this gentleman was, but I've never had these kinds of conversations. And I always say, when I find that out from folks, I'm like, well, if the current person you're currently working with is not having these kinds of conversations with you, it's time to get that second opinion. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, if someone's watching and they're going, gosh, I've never even thought about this comprehensive, holistic financial planning process, and they want some help in putting that together, what would you want to say to them?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jeremy.
So, I mean, the thing that I would tell them is we work with a lot of, different people from all kinds of backgrounds. We work with people that are college professors. We work with people that are engineers. We work with people that are doctors, nurses, janitors. It doesn't really matter what walk of life they're in, but the one thing that everybody has in common is that you're beginning to enter this distribution phase of your life. When we talk about stages of life, people spend 40 plus years in this accumulation phase, and they're gathering all these assets, they're investing them, and now they're trying to figure out how do I take those investments and get that money back, and how do I make it work for me? And so that's the one thing that all of those people have in common, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a nurse, whatever it is. And so the key thing is we try to spend time and focus on how to get you more of your money back to you.
Yes, your hard-earned money, right?
It's your hard-earned money,
Yes.
and a lot of people don't realize that they have a partner in their 401k, and that partner is the IRS.
Yes.
And we never talk about that going through the accumulation phase, but now it's really important. How much money do you want to give to the IRS versus put in your pocket? And there is planning that can be done to minimize that. And so I would encourage you, if you don't have a financial advisor, or if your financial advisor today is not talking about these things, give us a call to the number at the bottom of the screen and set up a time for a complimentary review of where you're at today, and we'll assess, can we add value to what you're doing right now?
Jeremy, Tim, thank you so much. We are going to take another quick commercial break, but we encourage you, that number to call is on the bottom of your screen, 866-256-7778, or you're welcome to scan that QR code. Both will get you connected in order to come in and get your complimentary retirement readiness review from Tim and Jeremy and the team at Stonebridge Wealth Management. Again, you can't get a second opinion from the person who gave you the first, so if you would like a second set of eyes on your situation to assess if you're on track to reach your retirement goals, we encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity. More with Tim and Jeremy on the Retirement Compass right after this.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Ben. Hey, birthday party for Carol and 5. Happy birthday to you.
Good morning, Ben. Happy Monday.
Daryl's birthday, be there or be square. Happy birthday to you. As you can see from our quarterly report on slide number 62, we're trending in the right direction. All signs point to a very positive outlook for the next several years. If you peel back the onion
Ben, do you have anything to add?
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams. The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter, the one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back, Nebraska. You're watching the Retirement Compass, which is dedicated to helping you successfully navigate to and through retirement. I am talking today with both Tim and Jeremy from Stonebridge Wealth Management, and I want to hear more about your proprietary process. I think this is so cool. You all have a process you walk people through. So let's talk a little bit more about that as it relates to the holistic, comprehensive financial planning that you do for people.
Yeah, so Kristen, basically, or put simply, it's a 5-point plan or process that we walk our clients through. And as I mentioned earlier, we focus on really 5 core key areas of your retirement plan or financial life.
And you call it the Retirement Compass, right?
We do. We call it the Retirement Compass. We're pretty ingenuitive with that. But
I love it.
But anyway,
consistency, it's good.
So we're focusing on income planning, investment planning, tax planning, healthcare planning, and legacy planning. And again, a lot of people will talk about, advisors will spend a lot of time on the investment planning piece, but they completely leave out the income planning piece. And like Tim mentioned earlier, with a client that said, my advisors never really talked to me about this stuff. We actually have advisors that are telling clients that when you want to talk about Social Security, call the Social Security Department. The Social Security Department cannot legally provide you advice on your Social Security anyway.
No, they can give you information, but they cannot give you personalized advice. That's a very important distinction to know.
Yeah, and so it baffles me that when you call yourself an advisor that you're not really providing advice. And so, like I said, we talk about the income planning, the investment planning, the tax planning, the healthcare planning, and the legacy planning. And what that allows our clients to do is to stop worrying. We went through a lot of turmoil these last 2 years with COVID, and then last year we had another kind of a little bit of a financial meltdown similar to what we had in 2008. It wasn't obviously as bad as that, but it was a unique year where we had stocks and bonds both going down at the same time, which traditionally doesn't happen. And so, but what it allows our clients to do, when you have a plan in place, it allows you to stop waffling back and forth. And when you get fearful, when things are going wrong, you can bounce back to that plan and say, okay, we already have a plan. We've already tested for that. We've already tested for rising interest rates. We've already tested for all these different things. So our plan, let's just follow it. And it allows our clients to focus on the more important things in life, like their faith, family, vacations. It allows people to be present at home rather than sitting there worrying, looking at statements and, what should I do now? What should I do next?
It's really almost like you're giving folks the gift of the peace of mind that can come with that. And I guess especially in today's economic environment, there's so many stressors out there, so many unknown variables, inflation, market volatility, what's happened in recent months. So Tim, how have you seen this planning process be effective for people? What has changed for folks as a result of engaging in it?
Sure. So when folks come into our office, we've got kind of a 3-step process within the Retirement Compass. But our first meeting is just to get to know somebody and find out what is their why? Why is this important to them? What are their goals? What are they trying to achieve? And it doesn't have to be extravagant, but that's the foundation of the plan. Growing up, I went to First Baptist Church in Kearney, and children's story hour, if you want to call it that, at the front of the church. And a lot of times sing songs. And what did the wise man do? He built his house upon the rock, because you have to have a solid foundation, because as Jeremy was just explaining, there's hazards and vicissitudes in life. Storms will come. All of our viewers out there, they know that. They've been through a lot of storms in life. And if you don't have a strong foundation, then you're not likely to stick to the plan. And so how I've seen it in practice is when we put a plan together, it kind of reminds me of when I was trying to put a plan together for a trip. So, for example, my wife and I had the opportunity to go to the Czech Republic a few years ago.
Oh, awesome.
So, Kulhanek, Bohemian name, all you Bohemians out there. And so we were trying to figure out, what are we going to do when we're, in Prague? There's all these different options, and we can go here on this day, and then, we're going to stay here on the next night.
Eat, right? Eating's an important factor.
And we did a lot of eating. I had a little bit of beef tartare while I was there, first experience. But we went over it for like 2 months, and we couldn't figure it out. Then the travel agent calls and says, okay, what's the top 5 things you guys want to do? Okay, so here we are. And we listed them off. A couple, maybe 3-4 days later, we had a specific itinerary in front of us. Here's where you need to be. right? Here's when you're going to leave the airport in Omaha. Here's where your connection is. Here's who's picking you up. So transportation was figured out. Our accommodations for staying overnight all the nights were taken care of. How we were going to get to Prague Castle or the Charles Bridge and what we were going to do. It was all planned out for us. And she basically said, look, as long as you could read and follow directions, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And that's really the basis of the retirement compass is I can put this plan in front of you. You don't have to figure out when you're going to file for Social Security, what Medicare options are available, what account do I draw from first, how much in taxes do I withhold. That's taken care of for you, and it's listed out. You focus on what Jeremy said, faith, family, travel, whatever that looks like for you. We take care of the behind the scenes grunt work, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. That is such a great analogy because believe it or not, I hear all the time, a lot of folks spend more time planning a vacation than they do for retirement, which one could argue is the longest vacation of your life, right?
Yeah.
So to speak.
Absolutely. And I always like to give my mother-in-law a shout out when we talk about that statistic because she does a lot of planning for vacations. We have a lot of fun, but it comes down to it. This is my perspective. The way I see it, you have three options. And the first one is you can just kind of keep going the way you're going. Just take life as it comes and hope that the plan you have, if you have one, works out. A lot of times when people have a plan, it's something that they haven't updated for years, right? Option number two is you can become an expert, a financial specialist in all these different areas, all 5 of those areas. Jeremy and I and our team have spent tens of thousands of hours preparing, educating ourselves, whether it be on taxes. We were educated by a 40-year veteran of the Social Security Administration on helping people make smart decisions when it comes to filing for Social Security. So that's option number two. You can do the work and spend a lot of time in front of the computer researching funds and figuring out what account you're going to draw from and what the tax law changes are and the state law changes. Option three is you can hire us, okay? You can hire Stonebridge and the team here. We've got a team of elite advisors that can help you that we've trained over the last several years on how to maximize Social Security, how to make smart decisions when it comes to taxes and legacy to make sure that your wishes are carried out as you want them to be. But it all starts with getting a retirement readiness review. Call the number on the screen below, or simply go to our website, stonebridgeiwm.com. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Wonderful. Tim and Jeremy, I've had a blast with you. I'm looking forward to future episodes and helping folks successfully navigate to and through retirement. Thank you so much for watching the Retirement Compass. Again, to get your complimentary retirement readiness review, simply call the number on the bottom of your screen, 866-256-7778, or you can scan that QR code as well. We appreciate you watching. We love you, Nebraska, and we will see you next week.